trust you to be this radiant, even as you're going through a very turbulent time in your life. First of all, thank you so much for taking this interview. I know you didn't have to. And also thank you for sharing, you know, you're very brave for sharing that story as you're going through it, you know what I mean? So there's a video that she had shared. In case people haven't watched it, I want us to start by you taking a look at this video and tell me if you would not get emotional. Take a look.
It's difficult, guys. It's difficult. So as the title suggests, I have been tested positive for negative. I'm positive for corona. So a lot of things have been going through my mind recently. Mainly, at the time when I found out my kids had not been tested positive. So, I mean, they had not been tested. So at that time, I had a huge fear about anything that I would have put my kids through. Kids are generally surviving this thing, but there are those cases that you're reading about, Kawasaki disease, all that kind of stuff that just...
Now, that was just a part of the video that Tatiana shared. Let's start with, what is your current state right now? How are you feeling?
So I'm actually feeling really, really good. Luckily, throughout this whole process, I have been doing really well, actually. Almost like as if I didn't really have any symptoms, or at least the sensational symptoms that you see online, or the worst case scenario. So for me, everything has been very minimal. In fact, like, it's one of those things where I just thought, oh, I'm having a headache, it's been a long day, I've had a really long day with the kids, one of those kind of things, like, I never thought that I had something this serious. And I think that's why I want to put this message out there, because it's one of those things where, a lot of people are asymptomatic or maybe show very minimal symptoms, and you might just think it's like a passing thing or just like a headache that you usually get, but you never know what it could be.
Yeah.
And that's why this disease, that's why the corona is just so weird, because it affects everyone so differently, and there's no one straight, like, forward answer of how old corona is or how it affects you.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, for me, it became a reality when I saw you and watched that video, because just like many people, I mean, it's not that we were oblivious to what is going on, but then you didn't feel like it was a real threat because you were not sort of like seeing people. A lot of people sort of shared the same thoughts. When I saw you, I wasn't now, when someone asks, do you know anybody who knows anybody who knows anybody who knows anybody? Now I'm like, oh my gosh, now I know Tatiana. Why did you decide to get tested in the first place?
So basically, I was staying with my dad at the time, and we actually moved to my dad's house because we were in an apartment before, so the kids could have a place to stay and all of this kind of stuff. During Corona, they would have like a huge garden to play in. But because I'm living with my dad, for me, it's always been a very scary thing to think that I could affect my dad in that way, because I just feel like, you hear the stories about people with underlying health issues, and how it might affect them. So for me, it was one of those things where it was just like, let me just do it. Why not? Why not get the test and just know for sure? Because I really didn't want to bring anything into the house, even though I was so certain that I was absolutely fine. It was just a little flu. I was even surprised at how quickly my flu, got over. Like, it was 2 days and it was over. So it was just a thing of, I just want to be certain, and if there is anything that's going on here, I want to know quickly so that I could protect the people that I'm around.
And, when we were talking earlier, you had said this, and I would love for you to share it as well on air. You had said that the reason why you felt the need to do the video, it was almost like a civic responsibility, because just like many people, you are also not taking it as seriously, because you were like, but I also don't know anyone. And you were like, oh my gosh, I need to do, was that, just tell our viewers about that.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, I was back to daily life. Not daily, I mean, I was wearing my mask, I was sanitizing, I was washing my hands. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, but also I am going to the supermarket and I was working, I got back to work again. People were starting to book me for shoots. So, I mean, life was ongoing. And it's one of those things where you can just kind of forget that you're also in a global pandemic, even though, you're trying to do everything that you think is safe. So, yeah, it was one of those things where I feel like I was becoming life was going back to normal. And thank God I kept my kids at home, and I didn't take them out to anything. I didn't expose them to anything. Um, but yeah, I did
Okay.
feel like life was getting a bit back to normal, and who knows where I could have got this, honestly.
Yeah, to be honest. All right, so now how many days has it been since you
So
tested
I
positive?
found out I was confirmed on Monday evening,
Okay.
but when I felt the flu like symptoms, it was Thursday night and Friday where I felt bad. The weekend I was back to normal, and by Monday it was completely just, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. So have you seen the kids now over the
No,
days?
so my babies are, I had to leave my babies with my sister. They both tested negative, and I thank God. It's just that I have to leave them for 2 weeks, and then who knows if I'm still negative at that time or positive or whatever it might be. So for now, all I'm thinking about is, I'm gonna get emotional. I've left them with my sister, and they're okay. That's where they are.
It's all right. You're welcome to be emotional. What do you mean? You're talking about your children who you've never left alone ever, a day in their lives. So this is it's a really, really big deal. And, I think with Corona, you just feel it's very different. But you and your husband both got tested, right?
Yeah, so we both got tested and we are both positive. So we are isolating together away from everybody.
How was his reaction?
I think once I tested positive, it was one of those things where he's like, oh yeah, actually, this makes a lot of sense, because he felt flu-ish as well last week. But of course, again, it was one of those things where we just thought it was a normal flu. So, but as soon as I got positive, he already, thought he was as well. He got tested positive, and he's been really, really amazing about it. He's the one to, keeping me strong, and, keeping me strong about leaving the kids, keeping me strong about how this will go. He's also the one that my dad talks to about keeping me safe, so he's like on full alert all the time. Yeah, he's been doing well. We've been doing really well together, honestly. And you know what somebody said to me? They were like, you've been asking God for a break, and here it is. Here you have a 2-week break with your partner, guilt-free. So enjoy your time. And that is what I'm trying to do.
Oh, I like that. When you put it like that, it sounds very different. It's like you're somewhere camping, but it's nice because you get to be with your loved one, because a lot of people don't get to do that. You quarantine by yourself, which makes it even a whole lot harder. Now, I had read about this online, that there is a stigma that is associated with people once they recover, and you pointed out that you were worried about what people would think about you, if whether or not they would want to hang out with you. That's a thought that crossed your mind?
100%. I mean, it wasn't my initial thought by any long shot, but there was a point where somebody had talked about it and we got a call, and then from there it was something that, oh wow, okay, now people are really going to think about this. Are people going to want to come next to me? I don't know, because I had that same fear, and I remember talking to my friends about it, and I was like, so what do you think happens, guys, when somebody gets corona? Like, are you able to just be with them straight afterwards? That was something that I had a fear of. And my friends were like, if anything, they've built a really good immunity to it. And if anything, they're really good people to be around. So I know that's something that I have thought about. I definitely know that a lot of people would be thinking about that. And that's why I really also wanted to control my own narrative and just put my own story out there, so that no one else can, start adding their 2 cents into what is going on.
Yeah. I like that you're the one who, took that power. Now, you went ahead and also asked people to send in their questions that they had about Corona, excuse me. What were the questions that you received the most? What was it touching on?
A lot of people asked me about whether or not they have Corona because they feel certain symptoms, or if my symptoms are the symptoms they should go by. And so that's one thing I really want to shed light on, because no, everyone's symptoms are so different. Like I said, there are even people who are asymptomatic, which means you don't even have any symptoms. So yeah, everybody has different symptoms. If you have a cough, doesn't mean you have Corona, but maybe it also does. So I think it's so worthwhile in order for you to go and get checked, if you can, if you have loved ones around you that you're trying to protect, And apart from that, a lot of people are asking me, about where I might have contracted it, and I honestly could not give an answer to that. It could have been anywhere, it could have been anyone. The incubation period is 2 weeks, so that means I had up to 2 weeks to, start showing symptoms. So I have no idea. There's a lot of questions about breastfeeding while you have COVID, and from what I have read, bearing in mind I'm no doctor, from what I've read, it is more beneficial to breastfeed there's more signs that it's beneficial to breastfeed than not to. So all this milk that I'm pumping, I want to save it for Mali, and apparently it's going to have antibodies in it, which are healthy. So that's something I'm also doing my research on. Those are the three main things I've been asked.
Okay, all right. Now, anyone who knows you, Tats, knows that you're all about your kids, and now you've left your kids with your sister, right, sister? Shout out your sister. 2 kids under 5. Big deal. Huge responsibility.
So here she is. I don't know. She's doing such an amazing job. My sister is amazing. My sister and my mom are taking care of the kids, along with my nanny, who is absolutely amazing and tested negative. So I'm so lucky that they're taking care of them. They are up to no good. But at the end of the day, it still hurts every day knowing that I can't be with them. I tried to give them a call today, and they started crying on the phone because they wanted to be with me. So it's a tough situation, but I'm so grateful for my family.
Yeah, family comes first all the time. And Olive is so adorbs. There's a video that we have of her. I just want you guys to see it just a little bit, and hopefully this one will put a smile on your face. So let's take a look at the video.
How did you get so beautiful?
I just got like that.
You just got like that?
Yeah.
So did Mama have something to do with it?
Mm-mm.
Did Dada have something to do with it?
Mm-mm.
No one had anything to do with it?
Mm-mm.
You just made yourself like that?
Yeah, I just made myself like that.
Well, you look beautiful.
Yeah, I do.
Wow! Okay.
She's like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And Marley's also really, really adorable. Such beautiful kids, my goodness. But you've heard this 1,000 times. From where I'm from, we have to say mashallah. When you say it like that, it just sounds like, you know, you have to pass the compliment and say mashallah. But you know what, Tatiana, you're going to get through this. We're wishing you all of the very best. You're one of the most positive, optimistic, glasses half full type of people. What's your message to everyone who's watching, who's scared to go get tested because of the fear that they might get the results and it'll turn out positive? What do you tell them?
I mean, I think this is nothing to be afraid of. I mean, yes, there are those cases that are very extreme, but a lot of us are going to be able to get through this, and with not too much, you know, a lot of us will be able to get through this. And I think it's better to know than not to know, because you are thinking about the people who are around you, and you also just want to take care of your family and those people around you that could potentially get really sick from this. So I think it's just a good thing to know, and it's just a matter of self-isolating for 14 days, keeping to yourself, and yeah, I think it's really important just to treat this as a normal flu, as something that you would go and have a checkup for if you were sick, rather than trying to treat this as something that's, you know, to be looked down upon or, you know, to be scared about. And it's better to know than not to know, I think, in my experience. You know, to parents out there, it's not ideal to have your kids away from you at a time like this. So just do everything in your power to keep them safe.
Yeah. I love that mindset, that powerful mindset, because you have to keep yourself mentally intact as well. What are you even keeping busy doing? What is consuming your day? What's taking up your day? What are you now like enjoying?
I have not had a 20-minute shower with no one disturbing me in a long time. I have slept for 8 hours, 2 nights in a row now. That's crazy. Like, I don't even understand. People who get this much sleep should be operating at 100% every day, because I am like blown away. I've never felt this feeling before. I've been watching series all day. I have been eating, literally just self-care and just trying to relax and take it easy, basically. Yeah.
I think every mom understands when you say that about the full night's rest. That one just you forget about it. You forget about it. But anyway, Tatiana, thank you so much for honoring our interview. Thank you so much for coming on at this time. We wish you all the very best. All right, so be positive. It's gonna be great. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much. People call her Olive, but it's her daughter who's Olive. Her name is Tatiana, but of course, because online she's Mama Olive, then I guess that's why. So make sure that you go ahead and you follow her. She's still posting up videos on social media, so you can go ahead and you can keep yourself updated with everything happening in Tatiana's life. Yes?
Thank you.
I said everything?
I'm updating with vlogs every day.
Yes, there you go. So make sure that you check it out and check out the pages. Thank you so much. Bye, Tats. Talking to us from quarantine. All right, so now unfortunately that's all we had for the show today. We gotta say goodbye.